Hey everyone! Welcome to another episode of Renton Reflex. When this movie first came out, I was hardly aware of its existence. It wasn't until years later when I found out about it having a very bad reputation. Yet, I never really knew why. Well, after finally checking it out for myself, I now know why. The plot takes place in the year 3000, in which an advanced alien race, known as the Cyclos, had managed to take over the Earth. Their intention is to have the human race mine for gold. But one human, named Johnny, won't stand for that, so he decides to gather some of the other humans together in an attempt to bring the entire Cyclo race down. On the surface, the plot itself seems pretty basic, but that's the least of this movie's laundry list of problems. Instead of going on and on about all of the faults this movie has, I'm just going to give you the basic gist of a few of its biggest problems. The first one has to do with the story itself. If the Cyclos are supposed to be an advanced alien race, how is it that they hardly know anything about the human race? Instead of taking the time to fully understand the humans and learn more about what they eat, how they live, and what languages they speak, they practically treat the humans like animals, putting them in cages and referring to them as man-animals. It's kind of like Planet of the Apes, but without any of the logic. Oh, and you want to know how so-called advanced their video surveillance is when it comes to monitoring the humans and their mining for gold? They have a small camera that flies over sometimes and takes a still picture. That's it. So yeah, the Cyclos are apparently not all that smart. Practically the entire lore of the Cyclo race and how it's portrayed in this movie comes off as stupid. The second problem has to do with the cinematography. Most of the movie is shot at the tilted Dutch angle, which can work for very brief moments to add tension to a scene, but to do that for almost the entire movie? That kind of gimmick just gets really old really fast, even if the director's intention was to make the movie reminiscent of a comic book. I also especially hate its use of curtain wipes, because there are far too many of them. The third problem has to do with the acting. Some of it is so over the top, it's laughable. Take, for example, the character of Turl, the alien chief of security and the main antagonist of the film. The way John Travolta portrays him almost like that of an eccentric thespian is so unintentionally funny that there's no way that Turl could be taken that seriously as a villain. So, in summation, it's no wonder that this is one of the worst science fiction films ever made. It ought to be seen as a prime example for all potential filmmakers on how not to make a movie. Heck, the movies that Edward D. Wood Jr. made are better than this. So take what you will from all of that and decide for yourself. On a scale between 1 and 10, I give this film a 2. It may not be the worst science fiction film that I've ever seen, but it's definitely up there among the worst. And that concludes my review. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.